Welcome to the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm Bobbie Grenier, your trusted guide to navigating the world of real estate in Maine. Get ready to debunk mortgage myths, unravel real estate mysteries, and learn tips to avoid costly mistakes. Whether you're an industry pro, an overwhelmed buyer, confused seller, or simply curious about life in Maine, this is the podcast for you. Hey there, you have found the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Bobbie, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things Maine real estate. I want to give a warm welcome to my new listener. Thank you so much for pushing play. And as always, a huge shout out and thank you to my OG listeners. You are the mashed potato to my gravy and the reason for this podcast. I'm super excited to bring you today's episode because it features a chat I had with Tyne Kenny. Tyne is a real estate agent with EXP, Land to Luxury Real Estate, and this episode was inspired by a conversation I sort of had with her a few months ago, or it was last month, at the Maine Association of Realtors convention down at the Samoset Resort in Rockland. And we were at a dinner. Tyne was talking to me about how her involvement in her local board of realtors really has changed her perspective on the real estate industry as a whole, and also her career and aspirations in the real estate industry. Before we get going, I just want to bring up a few things. We refer to the Greater Bangor Association of Realtors as the GBAR, the GBAR, the Bangor Area Realtors, but the official name is Greater Bangor Association of Realtors. And you can get more information on the Board of Realtors in Bangor at greaterbangorrealtors.org. The other thing I want to mention, and I am desperately guilty of doing this, I often use the term realtor and real estate agent interchangeably. They're not really, and I just wanted to clear that up. If you are a realtor, then that means you are a member of the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, which we mention in the podcast. And if you're a real estate agent, that means that you are licensed in the state you're working at to help clients buy, sell, and lease property. So let's jump into this interview with Tyne Kenny. Grab your coffee, find your comfy spot, and enjoy the conversation. Hey, my friend Tyne is here. Welcome, Tyne. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Bobbie.
Well, we were just talking about it, and the inspiration for this episode of the podcast started with a conversation that we had at the Maine Association of Realtors convention a few weeks ago. And as we know, at those types of things, you get interrupted. So you really can't have a meaningful conversation for the most part. But I was really interested in the conversation that we started having about Board of Realtors. So that's what this episode's about. And you're the perfect person to talk to about it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Woo! So the first thing I wanted to ask you about, you're very active in the Greater Bangor Area Realtors, Board of Realtors. And what is your current role with the Board of Realtors?
So finishing up 2024, I'm the current treasurer for the board of directors. And in 2025, I will be the Greater Bangor Association of Realtors vice president.
Exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I am very excited.
One of the things that you mentioned to me, which I thought was super interesting, is that you said that since your increased involvement with the Board of Realtors, that it's given you a whole new perspective. So I want to ask you, in your thoughts, what is the mission of the Board of Realtors?
So the mission statement for the Greater Bangor Association of Realtors is to advocate for and strengthen the professionalism of its realtor members, protect private property rights, and enhance the quality of life in our community.
That is beautiful. What does it mean to you?
So I just want to kind of give a little history here.
Absolutely.
Is that okay? Okay, so I've been a realtor now. I just cruised into my 13th year. And up until my 10th year in real estate, I had no clue what the board of directors did at GBAR, right? No idea. I knew we had a president, knew we had a vice president, knew we had all of that. But for me, I was just doing the day to day, working with my clients, helping them through their transactions. And one day I got approached about 2.5 years ago by somebody who was on the board. And they just asked me, like, have you ever considered getting involved with the board of directors, with leadership? And I said, no, not really. Well, here, come and apply. Okay. So 2 years ago, I became a director on the board, and it was the most intimidating thing I think I had ever done, aside from get into real estate. It's just a totally different experience than going to, monthly meetings and all of that. It made me want to quickly move up. So just in a year as a director, the next year, I applied to be the treasurer, which is where I am today. But there was really nothing behind, me getting involved. It was just literally somebody asking me if I'd ever considered it.
When you became a realtor and you became a member of the Board of Realtors, what was your inspiration then? To become a member of the Board of Realtors, was it just because that's what you were supposed to do?
That's exactly what it was. I felt like, it was what I was told. In order to be a realtor, you have to be a member of the National Association of Realtors, Maine Association of Realtors, and then you get to choose whatever local board you want to be a part of. But being in the greater Bangor area, it just made the most sense for me to join GBAR. So that's what I did.
Well, you said you were intimidated when you joined the board. What were your first impressions? What were you feeling?
You wouldn't think a seasoned realtor was intimidated by, other people that they've known for so long. And that was the funniest part about it is, walking into that first board meeting, I recognized everybody. These are people that I've worked with countless times, seen at meetings, seen at events. I think the most intimidating part about it was even though we're given, an idea of what to expect or what they expect out of a director, it's like starting a new job. You don't really know what you're walking into until you get going. And so that was really it for me. The intimidating part was just not knowing what we were going to be doing, and what kind of conversations I was going to be a part of. So that was more or less the intimidating part about it, I think.
Well, you had mentioned in our conversation a month or so ago that it gave you a new perspective. Can you share with us what the perspective is?
Absolutely. So this took about a year being involved with the board of directors for me to really see. But again, before my involvement, I was doing the day to day, working with buyers, working with sellers, working through the transaction, doing all your marketing, and going to our membership meetings and participating in events and things like that. Those are all fantastic things, and more of us should do it, let me just say. But when it came to the bigger picture, once I was the treasurer, back step here. Once you're in leadership, treasurer, vice president, president, you're automatically a director on the Maine Association of Realtors board of directors. So now you're going to Augusta 4 times a year for bigger board meetings. You're meeting agents from all over the state. Some I recognize, of course, from, going to convention and things like that. But what they're doing is just a grander scale of what we're doing at our local GBAR. The advocacy for home ownership is huge. It's bigger than I realized it was. I knew that people went down to Washington, D.C. once a year, for legislative meetings. We go to Augusta, to the State House for those legislative meetings. We're there, to lobby for everything good for home ownership. And it's just so much bigger than what we're doing right here in our local area. So that was the perspective change, was, whoa, I've got this local stuff down, but look at how much more I could accomplish and how much more I could, help in making these dreams for people come true. So it's very inspiring, and I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Well, it just exudes from you, your excitement. So, do you think that participating in the board, being in leadership, has it helped you develop professionally or even personally?
I would say so. I feel like a lot of the people who are involved on that level, they hold themselves to a higher standard, I feel like. And that's not to say that, not everybody holds themselves to a high standard, but you just kind of, there's a different feeling. There's just this, it's like that next step on the professionalism scale. And I think it's just because, these people are so involved. But for me, it's made me want to be a better realtor. It's given me knowledge to share with my local realtors, share with my clients. When you are involved on that level, you learn things a lot faster. And the more you know, the better you're serving your clients and other realtors and the community in general.
So, for a new member to the G Bar, what can they expect?
We're really big on supporting new agents, right? Making sure that they know, give them a good foundation, I would say. So the first thing that a new agent is going to do when they join GBAR is they're going to go through the new member orientation. During that, they're going to have discussions about the code of ethics, pathways to professionalism, and advocacy, and getting out there in the community. And it's really just to help them understand how important it is, as they're starting their career, as they're starting their journey, if you will. And we encourage them to take part in events that GBAR puts on, whether they're charitable events, or they usually are, like the golf scramble, for example, or the hike for the homeless, things like that. So I guess my greatest advice to a new agent would be to get involved heavily. Because not only are you putting yourself out there to the community, you're putting yourself out there to other agents, other realtors who are members of GBAR. These are people you're going to be working with and, mingling with. And, it's great to get to know them, bouncing the ideas off of each other, and you don't have to just stick to people in your office. There's so many offices, and there's so many realtors out there. And I like to think that we love to help new agents succeed, because if they're doing a great job, then that means that they're serving the public well, and we want that type of reputation.
Yeah, there definitely is a sense of community, and not just for real estate agents, but I'm an affiliate member of the G Bar and have been for many, many years. 2012 affiliate of the year. I'm dating myself. Yeah, I still have the award on my desk.
That was the year I started real estate.
That's so funny. That's so funny. But but it's a great opportunity, and I don't think that affiliates really take advantage of it. Because as you know, in real estate, there's so much networking. So if you want to network with these real estate agents and these other real estate professionals, be an affiliate. And then if you're an affiliate, get involved. Because if you go to these meetings, monthly meetings, you go, you say hi, you shake some hands, you sit down, you talk with the people at your table, you sit for the meeting. There's usually a speaker, which is always super interesting. And then you get up and you leave, and the realtors generally go to a class. what is the point of that? Honestly, I mean, it's nice. It's nice that you're supporting, but really to get the full benefit of using your affiliate membership to network and to market, you have to, as you know, you have to be involved. You
Yes.
have to sponsor some of these events, participate, work at them. And for me, I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm going to anyway. For me, I would rather be punched in the face than do small talk and mingle. I
Yeah.
just I've
I
tried,
feel
I've
you.
listened, I've read books, I've listened to podcasts to be a better small talker. I'm horrible. I'm awkward. It's weird. So, what I like about being an affiliate with G Bar is they'll always put you to work. So I'm very comfortable if I'm working and talking and, that is so much better for me. So even if somebody's like, oh man, I don't want to go to these events, I don't want to mingle, just talk to Tyne or Marcia Bartol. They will put you to work. And then it's so much easier to participate, to be involved, and to do that networking, small talk, mingling piece that so many of us introverted extroverts hate doing. That's a phrase I stole from Sue Roberts. But yeah, it's just a great opportunity. And for homeowners insurance agents, title companies, home inspectors, all of these things that you really need to network with real estate agents and lenders to get business. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking to do, right?
Yeah, it's all about building relationships within your community for sure. We love all of our affiliates.
Well, we have a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, we talk about it as work, but we really do have a lot of fun. But so what kind of outreach and what kind of recruitment, I guess you could call it, do you do to get affiliates involved and to join? I know that sometimes there are affiliate drives and affiliate socials, and you're always trying to bring people in. And I just don't, it's a missed opportunity, guys. You should definitely at least attend a meeting. Can you talk to a little bit about somebody can just come to a meeting and check it out?
Oh my gosh, anybody can come to one of the meetings, and it's really easy to find all of that information. Everything is on the website, the greaterbangorrealtors.org. So, and what's interesting is we do work with so many different people in just the day to day, realtor world. And I mean, let's just say your client's like, hey, we really need a painter. Like, can you please find us a painter? We have peeling flaking paint, which is story of our lives here in Maine. We need more painters in the world. Who do you have? Well, the first place I'm going to go to is who are our affiliates with GBAR, and if I come up empty handed there, I'm going to ask my friends, I'm going to ask my neighbors. But when we're doing that, if you contact somebody, a painter, for example, who is not a member, or not sorry, a member, but an affiliate with GBAR, have that conversation. Say, hey, this is something that comes up all the time. Like, we struggle with peeling flaking paint in Maine. How would you feel about becoming an affiliate with our local realtor association? Come to our meetings, get to know more realtors, spread the word for your business. I mean, that's huge, you know?
You do a great job too of showcasing the affiliates, letting them talk about their business. And we sponsor a lot, so probably people are sick of hearing the name Trilogy, but it's well worth
Never.
it. And you you need to support that local board and the realtors that are members of it. Otherwise, it's not a give and take, and it really needs to be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Can you talk about some of the initiatives that have impacted the real estate community, some of the good work that you all do?
We do quite a bit. And what's exciting is that there's times when we're raising money for, any given charity where we're able to get matching funds from NAR for that, Maine Association of Realtors, which is really cool because then you're, doubling what you've made for whatever organization it is.
What is the organization that is it House in the Woods? Was it last year or the year
Yes.
before?
I think that was Spirit of Giving, right? The Christmas.
Yes, yes. Every year there's an annual Spirit of Giving event, and you
Yeah,
always pick an amazing charity. And that particular one sticks in my mind. It was called, I'm pretty sure it was called House in the Woods, and
it is.
it supports veterans and gives
Right.
them an experience to go up. Gosh, I think it's Lincoln, Maine area,
It is in Lincoln, yeah.
and be a, that just they spoke, and it really I don't think there was a dry eye in the house after that. All right, take it away with the list.
Okay. So GBAR does raise funds for Habitat for Humanity. We have raised funds for Partners for Peace, for Penquist, and like you said, House in the Woods, we've done that as well. I know there's so many, and I know I'm missing a whole bunch. I think Marcia the other day actually sent me a huge list of all of the places that we've done or that we've donated to. But this is just one small way that our local realtor association gives back to our community. And the best thing about it is that those funds are staying local and they're actually helping maybe your neighbor. It's so good. It feels so good to be able to bring so many people together to make that possible. I know, I mean, even you guys, affiliates do stuff as well, and we love participating in that, whether it's school time, gathering school supplies. And I think there was one where we were gathering like winter gear or like coats and socks and all the things,
Yeah, we try to
right?
do some type of charitable aspect to our summer open house and then our holiday open house. So, like 2 years ago, it was the Maine Veterans Project. We did a coat drive. I love them over there. They are so great. We try to support them anytime that we can. We do a backpack drive for Penquist. And then our other favorite one, which we're doing this year, we've done a few times, is the Furry Friends Food Bank. And
Can't forget
that
about
it
our furry babies.
that is donations to the elderly so that they can have supplies for their pets because most of us know somebody, a mom, a grandmother, a dad, whatever, that their pet is their baby and it's their support. So I love that one. Every time I get to choose, that's usually the one I go for is a Furry Friends Food Bank. So
Our
all of
fur
these
babies.
initiatives, I can see you're just glowing, so excited. How does that align with your values as a person, as a real estate agent?
I've always had this in me ever since I was a little kid. I was always the one who wanted to, give the kid $1 in the lunch line because they couldn't afford food, or, make sure that I got gifts for all of my friends at Christmas. And I've always been that giving person. I feel like this has kind of given me some purpose. Like I feel like there's, you know, I am making a difference, whether it's me personally giving or, me just taking part in the event that is earning the money, whatever it is, volunteering for Habitat for Humanity this year and painting houses, just doing something that I know is going to benefit somebody else is rewarding all in itself.
You always have great speakers at the lunches, and I'm not a real estate agent, and I always pull something away from that. Do you have like a criteria for your speakers, or you just kind of find somebody that's interesting that will speak to the real estate community?
I think they try to make it relatable to what we're doing, whether it's September Safety Month, right? It's a Realtor Safety Month for September. So that's a big one where we always try to get somebody in to talk about safety in general or realtor safety. And I think we now have a good chunk of people to choose from for that month, which is really great. But we do try to make it relatable to our agents. And our affiliates, we try to make it, engaging. Is this something that our agents and our affiliates are going to want to sit here and listen to? So that obviously plays a big role in it.
I always say hats off to those speakers because sometimes you've had folks come in from like the city planning board, and a lot of the realtors, I mean, they're always respectful, but they put the hard questions to them. So it's a great opportunity for realtors to be heard again at the city level to be able to talk about planning board issues and zoning issues and that sort of thing. Continuing education is a big piece of being a realtor. And can you talk to us a little bit about how GBAR supports that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are required to have 21 hours of continuing education, and we also have to have an ethics course once every 3 years. I have my own personal opinion about that. I think it should be once every year, but all the realtors are going to be so mad at me for saying that. Usually at the end, or excuse me, after one of our monthly meetings, we have a course, a 3-hour continuing education course. Again, we try to make it as relevant as possible to, either things that are going on, or again, I just kind of go back to safety because it's like the easiest one to choose from. But yeah, it's a really great opportunity as well for people to get out from off their screens. I know there's an online option. We can all go online and get all of our CE courses done super fast, right? And whatever. But I don't know. I feel like me personally, I love the in-person live classes because I love to engage. I feel like you get more out of them. You can have more conversation. So as far as GBAR is concerned, we do put on those courses after every single meeting.
And I agree. I mean, that in person, the class we had, for anyone listening, we had a safety class just last week, and we had a great turnout. We had like 25 realtors came, and this was sponsored through Trilogy, and we co-sponsored with our friends at KeyBank. Thank you, Sharon. And also our friend Autumn Clifford, who, I don't know, she kind of weaves her way into my podcast all the time. But she's a
She's
great friend,
awesome.
and yeah, she's awesome. And it was so nice just to get with everybody, and it was so much information and stories. Like, I hear a lot of stories about things that realtors go through safety wise. That's what we were talking about. But some of the stories that you all shared was really impactful, not just for realtors, but as women and anyone that needs to be safe.
But I'm a huge advocate for safety. If you haven't noticed, I keep talking about it.
Well, that's great. That's great because it's important.
Yeah.
And it also speaks to the fact that GBAR and the real estate community as a whole is a community. We care about each other. Like I said, 2012, Affiliate of the Year, that's the year you started. That's how long we've been working together and how long we've known each other. And I consider, and I'm sure you do, many, many real estate agents, real estate professionals, friends, and people that we care about. So that's actually a really great thing about our sort of small-ish community in the Bangor area, but there are other boards. So if an agent in, Augusta is listening, there are other boards within the state. Can you talk to us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, just don't ask me to name them all. Yeah, but there's several others, and just because you live in the greater Bangor area doesn't mean you can't go and join, the Mid Coast Board, or I just had
Kennebec
it on the tip.
board.
Kennebec, that was the one. Yeah, we're so kind of close to each other. Like, I'm, close to Searsport, Belfast. It's not that far for me. So technically I could go and join that if I wanted to. And the great part about that is, you're expanding your reach, right? And meeting more agents, more affiliates, and you just have to pay the local dues, So it's kind of a win-win to be able to do that, for sure.
And it's really what you want to get out of it. Obviously, you're very involved. I'm very involved. But you could go to the meetings, get the trainings if that's what your goal was. But a lot of people are in it, way, way in it. And I think that you're missing the boat if you don't at least try to, if you're not into leadership, at least try to get involved in these events because they're really great. And like you said, it makes us feel really good to do these things.
It does. It does. It's that sense of community. And, if anybody if anybody's even just considering it, getting involved a little bit more, apply to be a director on the board. It's only for a short period of time. It's not like you're committing your entire life to it by any stretch. You may end up that way because it's so enticing and just pulls you right in. But it's worth it. It's worth your time to see if it's the direction that you'd want to take your career, for example. I mean, there's no limit to how far you can go. You can get to the MAR level where, get on their leadership, become VP there, become president there. And then you have NAR, we can, sky's the limit, guys. The sky's the limit. It's just.
I've actually talked with past presidents that have said that it directly impacted in a positive way their business as a realtor.
That is so interesting. But I feel like it kind of changes you. It changes you a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if whomever that was didn't realize that they were becoming a better person, a better realtor, a better neighbor because of their experience. And that may have been, the attraction effect.
So you keep talking about the sky's the limit. We know you're VP next year, right?
Yes.
Do you have any aspirations to go all the way?
How far are we talking? Yes. No.
The sky's the limit, Tyne.
I know. I do. I am going to go as far as the wind will take me, and my extra time will allow. So it is all volunteer, but that is, volunteering your time is just as good as donating to a cause. I definitely see myself here for a little bit. I've built some really great relationships at that MAR level with other agents around the state. Some, new, some I've known, but have just kind of grown our relationship a little bit further because of my involvement. It's a really cool thing. And I know it's not for everybody, but there's nothing stopping you except for you in giving it a try, But for me, yes, I do see myself on the horizon for GBAR, possibly being your president one day.
That's exciting. I can't think of anyone better to do it. And it's it's just refreshing. You're young, you're excited. And that is what, especially us older folks, it keeps you excited about the industry. I went and spoke with a high school class a few weeks ago, and as I'm talking about being a real estate agent or, working for a title company or being an appraiser or all of the different aspects in the real estate industry that, to use your words, the sky's the limit. What's exciting, I think, is you can think outside the box. You don't have to, go to that 9-to-5 job. You can think outside the box. And this class was like an entrepreneurial small business class. And these kids were awesome. But it kind of, again, I guess just to my point of it, refreshed my interest in the industry. So it's kind of nice to know that after all these years, I probably would stick with this industry.
Oh, Bobbie, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, no, I think that it's great. I'm happy to be an affiliate. It's so much fun to get involved. I wish I had more time to do it, but I have a Samantha. I have Samantha that also trying to think what I'm going to call her, coworker, cohort, whatever. Samantha that Davis that works for us. She also is a GBAR member, so we kind of split things up. But I like that aspect of going to the events and working and helping and being a part of that. So that's kind of my niche and where I like to shine.
She's been a great addition, but I will tell you, it's always awesome to see Bobbie walk into a building, into an event. We're looking for you all the time.
I wasn't expecting all this. I wasn't expecting that. That's great. Thank you so much. That makes me feel good.
Of course. You're a staple.
I'm a staple. I love it. Well, this is what Bobby Troji says to me. I don't know if he got it from a movie or a television show or whatever, but he's like, "You're always here." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" Like the old woman that's just never going to leave. But
No,
anyway, I think that's kind of funny. But that's a very nice thing to say. So thank you so much, sweetheart.
you're welcome. You're
So
very
it's
welcome.
takeaway time. If you had a key takeaway, if you had some advice for, let's talk about a new real estate agent that is just overwhelmed with the whole process of getting into the business itself, that they might think, oh, I can't take on one more thing.
Just breathe. I am coming to you from my Zen den. It is so important for you to take, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, try to make it more, but take 5 minutes and just chill with yourself. There is nothing easy about being a realtor. Nothing at all. It takes time. It takes motivation, self-motivation. No one's going to sit there and tell you to get to work. You've got to get up and do it yourself. Be patient with yourself because it takes time. It takes time to develop the relationship. It takes time to develop the skills. You know, I remember what it was like for the first 5 years. I mean, it kind of took like 4-year mark was my like, I'm going out on my own. I'm going to do this. And it was the scariest thing ever. But lean on, if you have a spouse, if you have family members, a sibling, coworkers, like, or other, realtors that lean on them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I ask for help a lot, and I think we should always be asking for help. We don't know it all, so just keep going, keep breathing, stay confident.
I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fantastic.
This has been the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast with Bobbie Grenier. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion and will share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to leave a review and follow the podcast so you don't miss new episodes. The content of this podcast is for informational purposes and not intended as legal advice or representation by myself or any of the guests on the podcast. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep it real.